Intermolecular interactions done by Antonius Sweden for Microbiology Lab. Final presentation for Professor Nalini Odapali. The prompt states that what are intermolecular interactions? Give some real-time processes where this takes place. Example, when we cook, the flavors travel from one room to another. Why and how? When we add salt to a cup of water, do we have to stir for salt to distribute to all parts of the dish? Explain the process and use the terms from the material you learned in biology course, such as diffusion, osmosis, and innate kinetic energy of particles. Intermolecular interaction stems from the powers of fascination or shock, which act between adjoining particles, that is, molecules, atoms, or ions. These intermolecular interactions are feeble compared to intramolecular forces. For example, water. There's a hydrogen bond that takes place with a water to water molecules. The hydrogen bond occurs between the partially negative oxygen of one water molecule and the partially positive hydrogen on another adjacent water molecule. Van der Waals interactions simply states that there is attraction and repulsion between atoms, molecules, and surfaces, as well as other intermolecular forces. There are two types. There's the weak London dispersion forces and the strong dipole forces. A simple analogy that you can think about is the dipole attraction. When you think of it, you can think of two couples that are very happy with each other, but the guy is attracted to another girl. The importance of IMFs are vital in understanding because they compare and contrast physical properties such as melting and boiling points, viscosity, surface tension, vapor pressure, and the enthalpy of vaporization. A scientific study that is focused on osmosis and intermolecular interactions, it states that, interestingly, when osmolytes strongly interact with water molecules, transport immediately starts and continues until all water molecules are transferred to the initially empty compartment. However, when the osmolyte interaction strength is in intermediate, transport initiates stochastically depending on the number of osmolytes. Surprisingly, because of strong water-to-water interactions, osmosis-driven water transport through a nanochannel is similar to pulling a string at a constant speed. The difference in this intermolecular interaction strength can be manifested in their physical states and transport behavior. For example, under ambient conditions, water molecules are in the liquid state, but their corresponding non-polar molecules, which are artificial molecules made from water molecules by removing electrical charges, show gaseous behavior. This scientific study that I am speaking about is taken from Changsun. That's the author. The article title is Osmosis-Driven Water Transport Through a Nanochannel, a Molecular Dynamic Stimulation Study, retrieved of 2020. An important role in salt and water mixtures comes from intermolecular interactions. NaCl, table salt, is an ionic compound and water is a polar molecule. So therefore, the intermolecular force is called an ion dipole force. In this scenario, osmosis partakes across a semi-permeable membrane, and science scope discusses that the concentration is a ratio of molecules of solute to solvent, and that the cell membrane allows for some passage of water, which can result in a net gain or net loss. Another scientific study that is based on intermolecular forces within vegetable oils in the cooling state states that the surface tension of vegetable oils is influenced by the London force between the electron clouds of molecules. The process of cooling increases vegetable oil contact angles due to the decreased kinetic energy of constituent molecules and increased London force on the molecules. A decrease in temperature causes the surrounding water vapor to condense, which adheres to droplet surface due to the hydrophilic properties of molecules. Hydrogen bonds develop after moisture adheres to the surface. Further, water molecules on the droplet surface reduce the surface tension. Because of hydrogen bonds between the molecules on the droplet surface and moisture, hydrogen bonds among the molecules force water molecules to accumulate on the droplet surface, which suppresses the droplet surface. Therefore, the contact angle decreases. In this case, the power of IMF, intermolecular forces, is conversely relative to separate between particles. The height and average kinetic energy keeps the atoms further separated and moving constantly, creating an intermolecular distance. This article is taken from the Scientific World Journal, and this particular interaction states that the London force is the weakest of all and is caused by uneven scattering of electrons within an atom, resulting in a slightly negative and positive charge on either side of the atom. Force is moderate, and the movement of, as I had said before, with salt and water, the movement of salt and water causes even disbursement because they are evenly moving, the particles of salt and water. Diffusion, on the other hand, is described by Science-Scope as the spontaneous net movement of particles down their concentration gradient. We can simply say things naturally spreading out over time. For instance, when you spray a perfume or a cologne. When we cook, or for instance, when we cook, our aromas travel from different rooms or even outside to the external environment. For the classmate discussions, Christopher, I enjoyed reading your essay as it is an ongoing discussion through the world. The COVID-19 vaccine, according to the CDC, our bodies recognize that the protein should not be there and build T lymphocytes that will remember how to fight the virus that causes COVID-19 if we are infected in the future. Great job. Emily, what I found so fascinating about your essay is the Bohr's atom model comparison between atoms and solar systems. Well done. Lourdes, my prompt was also based on intermolecular forces. So therefore, I loved your essay, and it also gave me insight as to how I can work on improving my own essay for this video. I love how you reflected on the everyday interactions that we partake in with intermolecular forces. Great job. Thank you.